And indeed, the battle of awareness and the conscience of the nation is the real tool we need to have those particular days in order to be able to confront our challenges. Restoring this spirit of the October victory is another important tool. Before we move on with our discussion, and before moving on with how we are or how we built on the momentum of this glorious days, and we started building our nation, and today we are seeing the announcement of a new republic. So before we move on to our discussion on this part, let's watch this report. And President Sisi, the October War or the October victory will remain eternally carved in the conscience of the Egyptian and Arabs. Let's watch.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi affirmed that the October War victory will remain eternally carved in the conscience of Egyptians, Arabs, and all peace-loving peoples. President el-Sisi made his statements in a speech at the 36th Cultural Symposium of the Armed Forces to mark the 49th anniversary of the 6th of October War victory in 1973. On this occasion, the president paid tribute to the late President Anwar Sadat, who courageously made the decision to pursue peace, thus turning the page on the past and opened up prospects of all future for the entire region, stressing that Egypt did not only fight to defend its land, but also to achieve peace during the glorious October War, who were guided by Almighty God to take decisive decisions that changed the map of regional and international balances. The president saluted the Egyptian armed forces, which achieved the victory, expressing his pride in belonging to its ranks. He added that Egypt achieved on the 6th of October the miracle of crossing of the Suez Canal, making the most glorious day in the modern history of Egypt. El-Sisi noted that the struggle for transforming the realities of defeat into victory and pain into glory and pride was at the core of the 6th of October War. The president warned in his speech that the forces of evil are still spreading rumors and delusions to shake citizens' confidence in their country amid the global economic crisis facing the world. The president said that he is sure that the development projects that are being carried out in Egypt would achieve security and hopes for the new generations and will also improve the living conditions of Egyptians. The president urged that citizens and officials should realize that the nation's future cannot be determined in a year or 2 or 3 or even 10 years. He stressed on the importance of fighting poverty and illiteracy, describing them as real enemies and warning of their dangers. The head of state asserted that the state has been keen to carry on with development projects during its war on terrorism, noting that the armed forces and the civilian police fought the forces of evil in Sinai for 8 consecutive years from 2011, underlining that the cost of protecting Sinai has been very high. He asserted that despite all challenges, the development process in the country could not be stopped in the last several years. President el-Sisi said he firmly believes that change cannot be made by words, slogans, or wishes, but rather by a long-term comprehensive vision, scientific planning, securing elements of success, and hard work. He noted that Egypt has been engaged in the battle of construction and development for years to change the reality in a true and sustainable way and cross to the new republic, which we aim for a better future. The president vowed to continue the construction process in the country despite the challenges posed by the increase in the country's population by 25 million in the last decade.
Right, welcome back. And indeed, the spirit of October has been a reason for Egypt's sons to evoke the glorious past and to proceed in the battles of the present and the future, reaching today or reaching the announcement of the new republic. And to highlight the issue, we have with us over the phone Mrs. Sahar El Damaty, economic and banking expert. Good evening to you, Mrs. Sahar.
Good evening.
Right, so as we are celebrating those glorious days, we have to say that we have reached the day when we are announcing a new republic. How do you view the basis on which we have announced such a new republic and the challenges we are facing at this upcoming stage?
Okay, so your question, because I can't hear you very well, so if you allow me, I'd repeat it again. First of all, you need the stages that we have adopted and accommodated in order to reach our level, and secondly, the challenges facing us in the future. Indeed. Correct?
Indeed.
Hello?
Indeed. Indeed.
Okay. Over the last 8 years, I think what the government has tried to do is, number one, to prepare a good economic reform in order to cover all the problems and the distortions associated in our economy over the last 40 or 50 years, as a matter of fact. And number two, it's to improve the investment climate by going through huge infrastructure projects and huge governmental projects. This includes, of course, roads and bridges and tunnels and so on. Three is to prepare the country from a touristic point of view in order to improve the tourism and to find and accordingly increase the revenue from the tourism, because Egypt is very, very rich in that respect. Fourth, working in big industrial projects. We can speak here about petrochemicals. We can speak about renewable energy. We have the Memban, it's the biggest in the world. Water projects, sanitation. In addition to this, a lot of effort has been put in order to cover one of the major objectives, which is social justice, by putting in place or replacing the slums by fantastic, decent housing for the poor. In addition to that, we have Decent Life. It's a fantastic project covering more than 4,600 villages in Egypt, providing them with electricity, providing them with water, providing them with sewerage and decent houses, in addition to hospitals, classrooms, and so on. So it's taking care of also healthcare and education. Having said that, a big effort has been put in order to increase the geographical locations of the country, or the geographical area of the country, to accommodate the increasing population. So we have seen across the last 8 years big expansion in the area of Alexandria, in the area of Asyut, Sohag, Mansoura, the new administrative capital. More than 24 cities have been put in place, and this is very important since our population, as I just mentioned, is growing every year by 1 million or 2.
Yes.
Having said that, significant efforts are also put in health, in increasing, in improving, not only increasing the classrooms, rather improving the educational level. Yes. Introducing new foreign schools and new foreign governments, new foreign faculties in Egypt, and
Yes,
that's
Mrs. Sahar, I guess that we need to speak about more about this very particular issue, and we need to evoke more and speak more about the challenges that we need to meet at this upcoming stage. So I guess that would need you to come in our show once, where we will be having the pleasure of hosting you and speaking more comfortably. I guess that takes us to the end of our episode, but before we end this beautiful celebration, let me here take 6th of October in the eyes of Egyptian, and goodbye.
The 6th of October 1973 war was an epic confrontation between Egypt and Israel, in which the Egyptian army restored the Sinai Peninsula. The October War demonstrated the ingenuity of planning and accuracy of execution of battles by the Egyptian army. The Egyptian army launched a surprise attack against Israeli forces in the occupied Sinai on the 6th of October 1973. Supported by the Air Force, the army pushed across the Suez Canal and dislodged the Israelis on the other side of the international water pathway. Tactically, the canal crossing was bold and ingenious. The Egyptian army had to destroy a giant defensive sand barrier bar-laid line along the eastern bank of the Suez Canal with high-pressure water hoses and install pontoon bridges to transfer armored vehicles, tanks and soldiers to the other side of the canal. As a result, the Israeli troops were forced to retreat 15 kilometers eastern the Suez Canal. Meanwhile, Syrian troops waged the war near Golan Heights against the Israeli troops. The war officially ended on October 24th with an agreement after a crushing defeat for the Israeli army. The war that lasted for almost 2 weeks paved the way for negotiations that gave rise to the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt in 1979 and the liberation of entire Sinai, except for Taba, which was recovered by Egypt through international arbitration in 1981. The 6th of October war will remain a turning point in our contemporary history and a symbol of Egypt's majesty.